Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen, and today we're going to be making pasta, fresh pasta. Show you to make dough, and I'll show you to make a pesto sauce to go right on top there. It's going to taste amazing. Shout out to Austin, how to eat, because I was trying to figure out what to make for this video and he suggested pasta, which I should have thought of myself, but thank you for offering up a little bit of advice. So what you're going to do first is you're going to want to get a 1 3/4 cups of flour, 2 eggs, some extra flour just to keep the surface nice and floured, and then a tablespoon of water. I have more than that just because depending on your climate and the time of year, it can actually affect how much water you do need. And then you're going to have a 1/4 tablespoon of salt in this flour. So after that, you take your flour. I've already got the salt in here, and you're just going to kind of toss that around so that the salt gets mixed. Dump the flour out onto a flat surface where you can knead it. And you're going to make a little hole right in the middle here. Just a little place to put it, like a volcano basically is what it's going to look like. You're going to take both your eggs and just plop them right in there. And now for the fun part. You're going to take your hands and break the yolks. Just pinch them, do whatever you got to do. Then you're going to come in with that 1 tablespoon of water. And you're just going to start, incorporating that flour into the eggs with your hands. This is the most fun part. This is some classic Italian way to make your pasta dough. You're just going to keep moving that around until it forms. Alright, once you've got your dough formed and you've kneaded it for about 5 minutes to get into a nice ball, we're kind of looking for this. It should have a elastic feel, so when you push on it, it should start to bounce back out a little bit, but not all the way. And you're going to want to form that into a nice tight ball. Wrap it in wax paper or saran wrap, just because that's going to keep it from drying out. You're going to want to wrap that up, and you're going to leave it out on your countertop for 30 minutes to rest. And then while that's happening, I'm going to show you how to make a really nice pesto sauce to put right on top of your pasta once you've cooked it. It's going to be fantastic. So we'll do that while this is resting. Alright, so your pasta dough is resting on the side. Here's what you need for a pesto. You've got 2 cups of fresh basil leaves sitting over here. You're going to have 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. You can sub it for virgin olive oil. The only difference between olive oils is extra virgin is from the very first press of the olives, then it comes the virgin, then it becomes olive oil, and then it breaks down further and further. Then you're going to have 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and then 1/4 cup of almonds. Skin on, not chopped, just normal. And you're going to have 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder. Or you can use 2 fresh garlic cloves, whichever you want. I don't really want a bunch of garlic chunks in there, so I want it to really get immersed in there with some garlic powder. So what you're going to do is take your RoboCoupe, and if you don't have one of these, a blender works just as well. Just be careful if you leave it on too long, it's going to become a very smooth sauce versus a slightly chunkier sausage, which is kind of what I'm going for today. So you're going to take your basil, you're going to put it in there, kind of break it up a little bit just to get it to fit. Okay. You take your oil and add that. You do not have to add this slowly as you go, because the oil is what's going to give us the ability to break down all this into a nice sauce. Make sure that's tight, and then start pulsing. Once it's gotten a little bit pulsed and it's not quite as fine as you want it, you're going to take your nuts, add those in. Then you're going to take 1/2 of the cheese, just 1/2 of it for right this moment, and then all of your garlic powder. Get it all in there. Don't want to lose any of that cheese on the side. Alright, put it back on, and now you're going to pulse it all the way down to a nice sauce. Alright, I've let this pulse for about a minute. It's pretty smooth right now, and it's actually really nice. You're going to take the rest of your cheese and put all the rest in. And the reason I do this in half stages is because I don't really want to get rid of all the little cheese chunks. I want it to have some bite to it. So after that, you're going to put your cap back on, close it up, and then give it a few pulses for a few seconds. show you finished product. Should come out. It's not going to be like a smooth sauce. It's going to have some little chunkiness to it, but it's going to spread out really well over the pasta. And that is quite simply how you make a pesto. So good. That extra virgin olive oil really makes this amazing. So we're going to sit this in the fridge until we have our pasta rolled and cut. So we still got about 20 minutes left on that pasta. This really doesn't take very long to make the pesto if you were just doing it for some store-bought pasta. So we're going to wait about 20 minutes and then we're going to roll out and cut up that pasta. It's going to be pretty great. Alright, so the pasta's been resting for 30 minutes. So you're going to unwrap that. Do not get rid of the wrap that you used though. Now the top of the pasta should feel dry, which means it's sat long enough, it's absorbed all the moistures, the gluten is formed very well from you kneading it, and now it's rested, formed some really good strands. What you're going to want to do is peel off a good size, probably about 1/3 of the ball that you made. The size of the ball you made is probably going to be about 10 to 12 ounces. That'll be about the same amount of pasta. So wrap the excess up so it doesn't completely dry out. Take the ball you pulled off, knead it around a little bit to kind of mix up the dryness with the moist. Now the nice thing about this pasta dough recipe is that you typically don't need extra flour to keep it from tearing, because you are going to need dry pasta in order to keep it from tearing. I have a pasta roller here. I'm lucky. You guys probably don't. Which means you're going to need a rolling pin. And you're going to have to roll that out to about 2/8 of an inch thick for the nice fettuccine we're going to be doing today. So have fun with that. And then you're going to have to probably cut it with a knife, or a pizza roller works the best if you don't have one of these, which is a pasta cutter that attaches to your pasta roller. So if you do have a pasta roller, congratulations. We're going to roll this through. Start off on the biggest setting and just start going. And as you can see, there's no tears, but to make this easier to go through the fettuccine roll, you are going to want kind of a square lasagna-like long noodle. So you're going to want to fold in the edges and the ends and make it so it's kind of squared off. You just want to keep rolling it. I've been rolling this out and it's coming along real nice. Got a real nice pasta dough. Woo. You're going to end up with some nice, very thin pasta. Remember, pasta does puff up and expand when it cooks, so you're going to be looking for something kind of like that. We're just going to lay that over a lightly floured piece of wax paper so it doesn't stick. Then you're going to roll out the rest of this pasta dough, and I'm going to show you how to cut it up, and then we're going to boil, cook it, and have ourselves some pesto pasta. Alright, so I cut all the pasta out into sheets, like so. Now we're going to roll them through the cutter and make the fettuccine noodles. So you're going to take your pasta and just start threading it through. And it's going to start cutting itself up, as you can see. It comes out. And you end up with some beautiful pasta. You're going to take that, kind of roll it around into like a little nest shape. That way the noodles can stay separate yet together, so that we don't have a whole bunch of pasta flying everywhere, because that just gets messy. Alright, now that your pasta is cut, got that over here on the side. I've got it covered so it doesn't completely dry out, because then it's just even harder to boil. So what you want to do is take a good sized pot of water, fill it about halfway to 2/3 of the way up with water, and take salt. You want the water to be as salty as the ocean. That's going to add flavor to your pasta. It's also going to lower the temperature that you need to get this water to boil, because that is what salt does. So take it, and you're just going to go probably about 3 seconds of pouring, and that should be good. You should not need to add any more salt. This is going to add flavor not only to the pasta, but when you toss it in your pesto, it's going to bring out all those nice garlic and basil flavors because of the salt. So let this boil. Add your pasta, and then we're going to toss it all together and see how it tastes. All right, we got salted water boiling here. Got our pasta right here, something to scoop the noodles with. We could strain, but it's gonna be easier because there's just not that much pasta. Got your pesto over on the side and olive oil. I'll show you what that's for. You don't want to put a little bit of this in the water. It's gonna keep your noodles from sticking together, and just drizzle it in there real light. And it's gonna float on the top because water and oil don't mix, but give it a little bit of a stir. Just kind of incorporate it. Then you're gonna take your pasta and just make sure you kind of, pull it apart a little bit if they're starting to stick. Drop it on in. Try not to take, too long between little batches you're dropping in, because then your pasta is going to be par cooked on some, not all the way on the others, and overdone. And I'll tell you what, I don't hate anything more than overcooked pasta. The oil will help separate the noodles if they are stuck together when you put them in there. Plop all that in. Give it a little stir just to make sure we got it all separating. Now, you're gonna let this boil for about 5 minutes. That's all it takes to cook pasta perfectly. 5 minutes, no more. Nothing's worse than overcooked pasta, so please, you've made a beautiful pasta dough. You've cut it to look fantastic. Do not overcook this, I beg of you, please. 5 minutes, let it go, stir it every minute or two to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom and getting burned. Then you're gonna take this, put your pasta straight into the pesto, give it a nice toss. It's gonna be phenomenal. So we'll do that as soon as this is all cooked up. All right, 5 minutes later, your pasta is now perfectly cooked, so we're gonna get this out of here. You're gonna take a fork and just kind of reincorporate that oil into your pesto. Set that on the side. We're just gonna take full scoops and let as much water run off as you can, because, well, oil and water, like I said earlier, you don't want your pesto getting all watered down and being separated. It just doesn't look appetizing to see the oil like that. That pasta sure looks amazing though, if I do say so myself. Put it all in there. Now these proportions are perfect. You've got the perfect amount of pesto with your pasta. I did do that for you, so you don't have to be there like, oh, I don't know if there's enough pesto for this amount of pasta. Yes, it's going to coat it nicely. You don't want too much pesto, but you also don't want too much pasta. The pasta, takes away from the pure flavor of the pesto. All right, once you've got it all removed, you can kill the heat. That just over there to cool off. All right, take what you got. Take this. And you're just going to incorporate the pesto. Just spin it around. Man, this looks awesome. We're gonna plate this up and give it a try. All right, ready to plate this up. So we take a generous amount, get it right on that plate. Oh man, it looks so good. Get it on there. All right. Get a fork and we'll see how this tastes. Hope it tastes as good as it looks. So fresh. Using the extra virgin olive oil gives it a wonderful kick. You can taste that saltiness from the pasta being cooked in that salt water. You know everything that went into this dish. You know what flour. It's just simple. Flour, eggs, water, salt, just for the pasta. You didn't add any, high fructose corn syrup. Nothing bad went into this. Fresh basil, oil, salt, garlic, some almonds. I mean, really can't go wrong with this. You got the cheese in there for a little bit of protein. If you want to add some protein to this, I suggest a nice grilled, just salt and pepper and garlic chicken breast. Chop it up, put it on top. Makes for a phenomenal little dish. There's enough pasta here for 2 people to have a wonderful dinner, so I suggest cook up 2 or 3 chicken breasts and toss it in the pasta as well. Serve that up for somebody, girlfriend, boyfriend, family. Double, triple the recipe if you got a little family. I mean, you can't go wrong with this kind of pasta. I really hope it wasn't too difficult for people who don't have a pasta roller. I only paid $25 on Amazon for mine. It's really inexpensive. It's wonderful. Kids love it. I know I love it. I make ravioli with my grandma and all my cousins every year. It's a wonderful little thing to have around. You get the best possible things out of that pasta machine. And this just looks fantastic. I mean, you can't go wrong. So I really hope you enjoyed this this video on how to do this. Shout out again to Austin Howdy. Thank you for reminding me that I know how to make pasta, because I'm Italian and I really should have noticed that before. So thanks again. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and tune in next week for the next video. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but probably something pretty awesome. So we'll see you then.